welcome back to Motherhood Unfiltered Diaries. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Mitzi.
And in this podcast, this episode, we will be covering our second trimester. We both had different experiences. Some are similar and some are different. And we're going to be going more into detail during this episode.
So going into my second trimester, I still had the nausea. And what weeks is second trimester again?
The second trimester starts from 13 weeks to 27 weeks.
And the second trimester, by week 16, I had already felt Ollie kick. And let me just play the scenario for you. To symptoms, I was very gassy. Like I'd be in bed and be like, oh, like, and
I think that's
Richie
normal.
was on the wall.
I think it's really normal to get really gassy.
Yeah, that was one symptom that was kind of crazy because
it was a little embarrassing because you'd be out at places and you had to hold it in because
you're like, oopsies. Mine were brutally loud, and I remember like feeling like gas, and I'm like, oh, it's in my baby. Is it like the gas?
I also thought it was like my bowel movement. Your bowel movements change when you're pregnant.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was like, maybe that's what it is. Like I'm pooping more frequently because the baby's in there. There's no room.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I would feel most of the time. But this time it felt like gas. But then no, I felt it again, and I didn't feel the urge to like fart or anything. So I was like, no, this is a baby kicking. And Richie and I were at the movies. We were watching, I think it was the new Despicable Me. All of a sudden, I feel like a little like here on my right side, and I was like, oh, Richie, I think I felt her move. I knew it wasn't gas this time. I was like kind of like, is it gas? So I let it like slide a little bit, but then it happened again, and I was like, oh my god, it's the baby! And I got so excited. You know, I was at the movie theater, so I was like kind of distracted. And I couldn't focus on the movie, and I was just so excited. I was like, maybe I could feel it, and I obviously couldn't feel it. I could feel it inside, but no one believed me when I told them. I was like, no, like I feel it, and everyone's like, it's too early. That's something that would bug me so much. It's too early. I was like, oh, so you have the baby inside your tummy and you can feel it, right?
And then, like, I'm not making this up.
Yes, like everyone would tell me that, and I'd be like, okay, bye-bye, like leave me alone. But I felt her at 16 weeks.
And that's funny because I didn't feel my baby move until I was like 21, towards the end of the second trimester.
Yeah, no,
I was 21 weeks. And for me, it was a different experience. I felt it, I believe, the first time I was driving home from work in the car because I was so focused on just driving and like I wasn't doing anything else that I felt it.
Yeah.
But you could actually feel it on the outside. But like you said before, I felt like little flutters, like butterflies, I guess, right? You would consider it. Yeah. But you couldn't really feel it on the outside. But when I was driving home, I was like, oh my goodness, I feel it like on the outside of my belly.
Yeah, and I remember I was in my mom's house, and I was on her couch, and I could just see how my tummy would go poop, like lift a little bit. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I made my mom feel, and she felt it too. And we were just, I think I have the video, and we were just kind of like, oh my god, like it's her first time.
And honestly, I still didn't believe it. Not until I went to my ultrasound, and the doctor was going to do the ultrasound, and she's like, okay, normally when you do ultrasounds, your baby moves. And as soon as she puts, like, I'm not sure what it's called, the little thing.
Yeah.
I felt the movement, and I was like, oh my goodness, I thought it was just gas. Like, I wasn't 100% sure it was my baby still until that moment. The doctor's like, no, it's your baby moving.
No, yeah, my baby was very active early on, like super active.
I remember that.
Yes, and it was kind of crazy, and no one would believe me. And then soon, like later into my pregnancy, they just see every time like she would punch.
Well, I remember when you took us to the first ultrasound, I believe.
Yeah, she was.
When you invited us, she was moving in the ultrasound. I was like, what's going on? This baby's so active.
Oh yeah, she really was.
Going to your ultrasounds, right? I would compare it to my ultrasounds, and I would see my baby still. Like, he was always asleep, like just kind of like still.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's wrong with my baby? Like, is my baby okay? So I had like a little bit of concern.
Yeah. It concerned me because my baby would move too much. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, why is she moving so much? Is she okay?
I was like doing research too, like trying to find out like why is my baby so still? But apparently, like, if you had a lot of meals or you were eating consistently, the baby's asleep in your belly because they're full. Which would make sense why your baby was moving around a lot. Like, maybe she was hungry a little bit. I mean, your nutrients were getting to her, right? She's a healthy baby.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the same as me eating like my big meals because I was hungry, eating every 2 to 3 hours because if not, I would get nauseous. So it was different.
That's true. But then also, like, when I would start eating, she still kicked a lot. And especially, she would especially move when I was eating. like, and I ate a lot towards the end, but she kept moving like my whole pregnancy. And but something I always wanted to know throughout my whole pregnancy, like, how big is she? No, but like, yeah, you tell me it's like an apple, but does she weigh like an apple? Is she as big as an apple? Like, I always had that question in the back of my head.
And then sometimes you look at like the pictures, like there's all kinds of charts online, right? Yeah. And you look at them and it's like, oh, your baby's the size of a cantaloupe, and I'm like, huh? Like, how does my baby fit inside of me?
No, yeah, it's just really weird. Like, the whole sizing and charts, everything. I never got it. I was like, okay, so she weigh like that? She look like that? She in a circle? I'm like, I didn't know, but that was always the coolest thing for me. And Richie has a cousin, and she's an ultrasound tech. So we would go all the time with her. And with her, we also found out the gender. And she had already like a speculation of what it was, but I was like, don't tell me. Like, I was like, Richie, don't look at her face, because if we look at her face, it might give it away. And so she was the first one to find out what our gender was. Aww. Which is really, it meant a lot that a family member got to know what our baby's gender was, rather than like a stranger. So it meant a lot to me. Yeah. That, and also she's like super kind. She, I feel like, made our experience so beautiful. Like, she was so kind. She would be patient, because Ollie moved a lot until it came to the ultrasounds. When it was like towards that time, she would just hide, like turn away. Yeah. And I was like, oh, girl. Like,
and she was really, our cousin was really patient with you, right?
Very
like,
patient.
Okay, go walk around, come back in like 5 minutes, drink water. Juice. But these ultrasound techs, like, if you go through your insurance, I had a lot of ultrasounds, but if you go to these ultrasound techs, they're so rude. Like, yeah. You're lucky if you get a good one.
Yeah, they're like, hurry up, let's
I can't
go.
give you information. Like, you ask them a question, you have to speak to your doctor.
Oh my gosh, speaking of that.
That was my first ultrasound. I got such a bad experience. Like, she was in such a bad mood. It was early in the morning. Me and my husband went, and I asked her, like, oh, can you tell me what the heartbeat's at? Oh, you have to ask your doctor.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, you can't give me any information. Like, she allowed me to listen to it, but that was it. My husband, like, they didn't let him come in immediately. Yeah. Like, first they did my vitals, they checked the baby, and then they told me, like, okay, now he can come in. Yeah. So the ultrasound tech tells, like, one of her coworkers, go get the husband. And I guess she missed the conversation, or she didn't hear her right, so he never came. Yeah. And then I'm telling you, she was in a really bad mood. She runs out, and she's like, I told you to call the husband.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, what's wrong? Like, you're not making this an enjoyable experience for me.
Yeah. And I think, like, in that field, you have to be happy. Like, these are mom's first times.
Yeah, like, and also they have to break news sometimes. Yeah. Like, some pregnancies don't go as expected, and they're the bearers of, like, bad news. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they actually give the bad news, but they're there, and if the baby's not moving, if you can't hear the heartbeat, you're gonna start asking questions. Like, they need to know how to deliver.
Yeah, and you already set up a bad mood. No, like, make them feel like better about themselves,
And something. Jenny, you're a great ultrasound tech. Yes, we love you.
She is. She was really sweet. Really, like, took her time. I think one time we were there for an hour and a half, and she's like, it's okay, like, do some movements, and she kept trying to look at her, like, for, I think it was her anatomy scan and our gender, because I think she had the umbilical cord through her legs, so she was like, she couldn't really tell or something like that. So she made me get up and walk, and I felt embarrassed. I was like, Ollie, like, come on, like, you're taking too long. And no, she was really sweet throughout the whole process. So
you found out at around 16 weeks the gender, or?
Somewhere in July.
Because for me, I found out my baby's gender at 16 weeks.
Okay.
I actually went to an ultrasound before that, but I didn't take my husband. I only took my mom. Yeah. I didn't want to go by myself, and I told my mom, like, come with me. Like, I already had my initial one. This is the second one. Like, they're just checking to make sure that the baby's still okay, that, there's still a heartbeat. Come with me. So she comes with me, and then the ultrasound tech, it was a different girl. Really nice. And she's like, do you know the gender yet? And I'm like, no. And then I got goosebumps, my heart dropped, and I was like, I don't want to know. Like, my husband's not here. It's supposed to be special for both of us to find out together. And my mom was like, you're not going to find out?
You're like, not with you.
I'm like, no, Mom. I want to find out with Daniel. Yeah. And she's like, are you sure? I can see it. Like, the ultrasound
I feel like that would have made me feel, oh, it's a boy. Because obviously, like,
that's what I felt too. But then as soon as, like, that happened, I went home and I did some research, and they're like, no, like there's differences in, like, what you see in the ultrasound
Yeah.
And if you see it, like the girl parts, it almost looks like if it's a boy.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if the ultrasound would have told me that, I'd be like, oh, it's a boy for sure. Because with the girls, they're like, wait, is it? Like, is it? They're not like, oh, for sure it's a boy, you know? Like, or for sure. Like,
yeah, so I had a sense, but already, like since day one, I feel like I was gonna have a boy. Yeah. I don't know if you had that feeling, like where you had like that intuition that it was gonna be a boy or a girl.
Yeah. No, for me, everyone told me it was a boy. Everyone was like, "It's gonna be a boy. Tienes panza de niño." I was like, "And you have panza de cerveza, so leave me alone."
I was rooting like, for a girl.
Yes, no, everyone was telling me you have panza de niño, panza de niño. I think even to the last week I was pregnant, some lady came up to me. It's like, "Oh, you have panza de niño. You're gonna have a niño." I was like, "Girl, like leave me alone. Like it's a girl. I'm having her like next week." Everyone was telling me that it was gonna be a boy. Like it's a boy, it's a boy. So in my head, I was like, oh, okay, like it's gonna be a boy. You know, I'm okay with it. I feel like as a first time mom, like for me, I wanted a girl and my husband wanted a boy. But like I was like, okay, whatever we get, we get. You know, obviously, I'm not gonna not love it because it's a boy or because it's a girl. Like
it's a blessing.
Yeah, it's a blessing. I was gonna be happy either way, obviously. But in my head, I had already put, okay, it's a boy. You know.
So you wrapped your head around that idea.
I wrapped my head around that idea. I was like, okay. And then I remember everyone being like, what do you think? A girl or a boy? A girl or a boy? And my sister, obviously, she was super excited. So, and she was rooting for a girl too. And
I remember me and her wanted a girl.
Yeah,
even for your gender reveal, we were wearing like
pink.
I was wearing like a floral shirt, pink and purple, and I think she was wearing pink too.
Yeah, and then I remember her doing the wives' tale. Like, are you nauseous? Are you not nauseous? Are you craving sweets? Are you not craving sweets? And every time it would land on a girl. So I was like, I don't want to get my hopes up. Like, if it's a girl, like I'll get like obviously really excited. If it's a boy, I'll get excited too. But obviously I wanted a girl, so it was just kind of like, no, I can't do that because if it's a boy, I don't want to make him feel bad. I always thought that, like, I don't want to make him feel bad. Like, stop calling it a girl if it's a boy.
For me, I always thought I wanted a girl.
Yeah.
If you know me, I'm very like girly. I like to do little girls' hair. I like to braid their hair, their little bows, their headbands.
Yeah.
So I really saw myself with a girl.
Yeah.
But deep down, my intuition told me like you're having a boy. Yeah. And my husband wanted a boy. Yeah. If you know my family, my husband's family, he has 5 sisters, all girls.
It was a blessing for him.
I know.
Like,
so
you need this.
Exactly. Yeah. He was very happy. He always thought like, what if I end up with all daughters?
Yeah.
He had that fear, so as soon as he knew it was, I think it's a fear. We actually had an ultrasound where right after I had my ultrasound where my mom was there.
Yeah.
I set up an appointment so me and my husband could go like the following week to an ultrasound. Nice. And that's where we found out the gender. It was just me and my husband. It was very intimate. Yeah. It was amazing. As soon as the girl said it's a boy, we were super excited. You know, we both started crying. Yeah. It was a beautiful experience.
That is really nice. For me, before I found out it was a girl, I had a dream. I had a dream where I was laying down, I was sleeping, and all of a sudden I wake up and I'm like, and there was a little baby girl next to me, and it was wrapped in like this floral wrap. And what's crazy is my aunt gave me that floral wrap after, and I saw it and I was like, oh, that's so weird.
That was in my dream.
That was in my dream, but she looked a little different. She was just a baby, so I think she looked exactly how when she was a baby. Because when she was a baby, she was a little darker. Right now, she's like really white. But
I know. I thought she was gonna be dark like my brother.
Yeah, me too. And I was like, okay, girl, get some tan because I'm super like light skinned. But for her, she was super like this tan little baby girl next to me, wrapped. She was like freshly out the cooch. Like she was like had her little bow, her little wrap. She was sleeping like a little thing, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I told Richie when I woke up, I was like, I think it's gonna be a girl. Like I had a dream about a girl, and when people have dreams, like it's
and
so
it's
real.
True, the dreams, because I also had a dream.
Yeah.
I had a dream that my baby was a toddler already. I was holding him, and I was like, oh my God, I think we're having a boy because I had this dream.
So that dream made me feel like it was gonna be a girl. So when my husband and I went to the ultrasound, we came home, but we were so excited. We had our ultrasound on Saturday, so we were gonna go all of Sunday without knowing because our gender reveal was Monday. I had already told my whole family, okay, Monday we're gonna do this gender reveal, and Richie was like, no, we can't, like we cannot wait. So it was like, like I want to wait because I want that raw reaction for my whole family, but I also want to know, like I can't. So I was like, initially my aunt, my mom's sister was gonna do the gender reveal. So I was like, okay, Tia, here's the envelope. Do you think, because Richie would work a really weird schedule where he would go Yeah, he would go in at 6 p.m. and come out at 3 in the morning. So I told my tia, okay, tia, like after Richie gets out of work, we want to do in our backyard a little gender reveal, so I could pick up the whatever you make for us. Um, I could pick it up. She's like, no, like have it at my house. I'm gonna set up a cute little thing for you guys, and you guys have it like special for you guys. And I was like, okay. So I go and I take her the envelope, and she made little cake pops. So at 3 in the morning, we're both driving.
3 in the morning.
Yes, we couldn't wait. I couldn't even sleep. I was like, you know what? I'll sleep. Just meanwhile, Richie gets home. I couldn't. I was like, is it a boy or is it a girl? You think, are you a girl or are you a boy? Like ever since she was really little, I always talked to her. I always rub my belly. People would be like, why are you rubbing your belly? You don't even have one, which I didn't. But I was like, she's in there. Like, I'm giving her little cariñitos. I was like, I have to. But yeah, so at 3 in the morning, 3:30, I think it was already like 4. We get to my aunt's house.
And she was awake.
She was awake. She was excited too. She was like ready to see us. She was like, okay, guys, like come on in. So we go in and she has this cute little setup in the corner of her no, you're good. In the corner of her living room, she had a cute little setup with a bear balloon, little bear buckets, and 2 cake pops on the side. And she's like, those cake pops, don't lift them because that's the gender's under there. And I was like, it's gonna be blue, I'm okay with it.
You were so confident.
Yeah, I was like, it's gonna be a boy, The time comes and she's recording because I was like, we didn't have our selfie stick, so I was like, okay, like, Thea, can you record for us? And my uncle has a camera, so he was taking pictures of us. We're closing our eyes and we take a bite into the cake pop, and I open my eyes and I'm like, it's pink. Like
you couldn't believe it.
I could not believe it. I was in so much shock that I jumped. I was jumping like, and I was like, oh shit, I'm pregnant. Like maybe I shouldn't jump. And I was just so excited. I was so happy. I was like, I can't believe like now I know, because I feel like as soon as you get pregnant, you're like, oh shoot, is it a girl or a boy? Like I need to know now. The whole time that was like my biggest, like, it felt like when I was a kid again, that excitement of like when you go on a field trip the next day, or when you go into Disneyland, like that adrenaline came back, and I hadn't felt that in so long, like since I was a kid. So I was just so excited. I couldn't sleep at night, like it was just like the best feeling ever of finding out what my baby finally was, because
it's a beautiful feeling. I felt like once I found out, I felt more comfortable talking to my baby. Like before, it was a little bit awkward. Like the babies and like the baby, like I couldn't say like he or she. It was a little bit awkward for me, and not until I found out the gender, I was like, oh my god, I'm having a boy. Like he's inside of me. Like it felt like he was more like a part of me. Like I knew who he was. Like it was like an identity.
Yeah. No, for me from the start, I was like, oh, my baby. Like not my baby the start, but maybe more second trimester for sure.
I think for me, since I couldn't feel him move until like later on.
You're right. Yeah.
It was hard for me to like, you could see my belly growing. Like my belly grew immediately from the day I told everyone.
Belly. Like she would come out of work,
would see me and they'd be like, "Oh my god, you have a belly!"
Yeah, and for me, like she would have a belly and I still had nothing, like nothing. So I was like, "Is my baby growing?" But like the ultrasound obviously was like, you're fine, head is good, body's good. Everything was good, but every time I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I'm too small, like what's going on?
But I think it's because she was having a girl, so her belly was a little bit higher and mine was a little bit lower, and when it's lower, it pops out a little bit more versus on top.
No, yeah, for sure. But finding out it was a girl was like my biggest, like one of my top happiest moments. Obviously after like having her and stuff. But I was just so excited.
One of the best parts when you were like expecting, right? Like you had just gone through all those horrible symptoms of the first trimester, and then you get these amazing news of finding out the gender. It's amazing.
It was so amazing. And then we had to be all Sunday quiet. Like I never told anyone that I had a gender reveal the day prior, because
I know she didn't tell us.
No.
And it's funny because I know it slipped her like when we were having conversation. She spoke about her baby, and she made a comment, something like, she's gonna be this, and you're like, wait, I don't know what it is. Like you kind of caught yourself, and like you went back, oh, the baby. And I caught on, and I was like, I think Mitzi and Richie knew. Like once I knew it was a girl, like 100%, I was like, okay, Mitzi knew because she referred to her baby as she.
No, and like that whole Sunday I was like, oh my gosh, like it's a girl, like I can't tell anyone, because I know if people would have known that I found out before, everyone would be like, so what is it? You're laughing, it's a girl. You're laughing, it's a boy. So I was like, I was like, oh, I can't wait for Monday. I'm so excited for Monday. Like, I don't know what she is yet.
The poker face?
Yeah. So the poker face was strong that day. But when we did announce it, we announced it here in the backyard, and we popped a balloon, and it was so nice. Seeing everyone's reaction was so nice. And
honestly, as soon as Mitzi popped the balloon, she was just jumping up and down, and I was like, "Oh my god, her baby's gonna pop out!"
I know, and I was just so excited. So yeah, that excitement was also raw because I just saw everyone get excited, and I got excited. You know, it was just like a happy moment of like finding out. Yeah, I was nervous too about the whole jumping, but I do that when I get excited. I'm like, ee! I think I'm a person that makes noise, like with my baby. Every time I see she's cute, I'm like, so cute. Like,
I make a lot of noises. Yeah, a lot of noises.
Yeah, and I jump, and I'm super expressive about my feelings. So yeah, I was just super happy. Yeah.
I think for me it was very emotional. It's different experience, right? For you it was a surprise pregnancy.
Yeah.
Everything was a surprise, right?
Yeah.
For me, I wanted a baby.
Yeah.
I was super happy with boy, girl, but my husband wanted a boy.
Yeah.
So I found out at that ultrasound. It was emotional.
Yeah.
More than
excitement, it was like,
yeah, it was even like
a warm feeling.
Like, yeah, it was like I'm gonna have a boy.
Yeah. So you like started picturing. After I feel like you find out, you start picturing your whole life.
Exactly.
You know, so like
it changes. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna be buying bows, dresses. Now it's gonna be boy clothes. Like, what am I gonna buy for a boy? Like, I always picture like little cute dresses, and for a boy, it's a little bit harder. Or I guess it's more simple.
Yeah, more simple.
But it's hard to find cute stuff.
Yeah, I've seen. So I look for Ollie's clothes a lot, and I see a lot of cute boy clothes. Maybe I should send you the link. I'm like,
I know,
buy this, buy this, buy this. Because
so then after I announced it to my family, like 2 days later,
and I had COVID while she announced it. I was like,
so actually we went on a Friday, and I announced it like Saturday.
Yeah.
So we'll go back to you having COVID at my announcement.
Yeah.
Which was unfortunate,
but
so right after our ultrasound, we went to Party City because I didn't have anything, like I only had balloons which were like gender neutral, like a tan and ivory colors.
Okay.
And then blue and pink. So it was a mix. Right after, we went to Party City because I had ordered some confetti poppers on Amazon, and they hadn't arrived. I had ordered pink and blue. Yeah. And I was like, what if they don't arrive on time? Like, we're going to announce it tomorrow. My husband was going to make a barbecue. Yeah. So we went to Party City, and we knew it was a boy. So we bought, like, blue confettis, like, little poppers for everyone. And so we went home. We didn't see any family, luckily.
Yeah, good.
So we were, like, secluded. We're like, I'm not going to tell anybody anything.
For sure.
And then the next day, my husband did the barbecue. I did the balloon art. They looked very, very pretty. And then Mitzi couldn't make it. Unfortunately, she had COVID.
No, okay, so being pregnant, having COVID, and being in finals, because I was in finals for my nursing school. Oh my, worst 2 weeks of my life. Worst timing, worst everything. Like, so when I got COVID, I think I was still in my second trimester, and it was the worst thing ever. Like, I felt so sick. Like, my body hurt so bad. And the worst part was that my whole family left to Cancun. Like, I had, like, it was only Richie and I. Like, you know, Richie also had COVID, so he couldn't even go to the store. My mom had left us a stash of everything we needed. But I was still like, oh my God, like, I'm nervous. Like, what if something happens to my baby? You know, COVID, like, is new. Like, it was kind of, like, terrible. Like, my body hurt so bad. I was tired. And I still had to study because my final was, like, the next Monday. So this was like what, Saturday, Friday?
Yeah, we did the announcement on Saturday. Yeah, and I know you had announced it. I think you had told us that you had COVID a week before. Yeah. So you were like towards the end.
No, I was in the beginning because Richie had
Richie had it first.
Yeah, Richie had it for a week first. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I got it, and everyone was trying to take care of me. So Richie was sleeping in a separate room. He was, you know, we were doing our own thing, and then I still got it. And I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, so during my gender reveal, they were on FaceTime, so they didn't miss it, but they were there.
And I was so sad because...
Did you feel any emotion, like, knowing that I was having a boy when you wanted a boy?
No, because I thought I was going to have a boy, but inside I wanted a girl. You know, like, I was like, so, because I just knew I was going to have,
So did you have a feeling that I was having a boy? Like, did you, like, have that gut feeling?
The only reason why I thought you were having a boy is because the ultrasound tech said so fast, like, oh, I know what it is. I was like, oh, no, she's having a boy. Like, I wanted you to have a girl, but, like, obviously, we love that you have a boy, but, so, because, you know, girl and girl.
Exactly.
So, it would have been, like, but it feels like the same. Like, now that it's, like, boy and girl, I feel like it's even cooler because we get both
different perspectives.
Yeah, and they're growing up together, and I feel like he's gonna be protecting Ollie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, boy, you better let's go to the gym because you're gonna be protecting Ollie at school, you know. And I think having a boy was kind of way better, so he could protect him. I mean her. You know.
Yeah, so that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so Richie was always like, yes, it's a boy. Like, he got really excited that it was a boy.
I know.
He was like, he's going to be, like, not my nephew.
You know,
like,
I had a fear. I had a small, like, fear of, like, oh, my God, what if Mitzi feels, like, or my brother feels really sad about it because he really wanted a boy. Because I know he was, like, so, like, convinced that he was having a boy. And he was like, I'm having a boy. This is the best thing ever.
I think as soon as he found out he was having a girl, he was excited to be a girl dad.
I know, he was. I remember him, and I was like, I thought you were so
really quick. He was like,
I thought you were so big on having a boy. What happened? And he's like, no, I'm having a girl. Like, I love it.
And obviously, that's what every parent's gonna do. I hope so. Like,
I would hope so.
You're
gonna love your baby regardless if it's a boy or a girl.
And I know maybe you feel a little bit down if you're maybe having the opposite of what you really wish for. Or if
you're maybe you're on your 5th pregnancy and you're having a boy again.
You're gonna obviously. I think you already know that you're gonna love your baby a lot, no matter what. So, you know how I had a girl, did you feel a certain way? Because I knew you, like, were also super girly, and I was like, yeah, maybe she wants a girl. Like, did you feel any certain way?
So, I really, really wanted a girl for you. Yeah. I remember from the beginning, I told you guys are having a girl.
Yeah.
Even though you guys were pushing the boy. Yeah. And when I found out I was having a boy, like, I think, like, your mentality changes.
Oh, for sure.
Thinking that, I want a girl, I see myself with a girl. And then you find out you're having, like, the opposite gender. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That, like, leaves your mind. It completely changes. Your mindset changes. And you're happy. And you wish the best for your baby.
Speaking of mindsets, you are just grateful you have a baby, you know? Because back to when I
still get goosebumps thinking about it.
Back to when I was 10 weeks pregnant. And that happened to me about the bleeding, like we said in the other episode. I was so happy about anything and everything. Like, okay, she's a girl, boy, who cares? Like, I am so happy that she's okay. You know, that I made it that far into my pregnancy. I was like, oh, like, okay, I know, like, thank God.
Like, even now, I think that for my next pregnancy, I want a girl. Mm-hmm. I really want a girl, right? So I have my little pair. But if I end up being a boy mom, it's going to be the most beautiful thing ever.
Yeah,
my only biggest fear is that if my boys end up, like, with the mom's family.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, hopefully
I want at least one girl.
Yeah, that's true. Like, that's why when I found out I had Ollie, I was like, yay, like, Thanksgivings will be at my house.
Because, you know, my husband, he loves spending time with my family. He loves coming with my parents.
Yeah.
And I see that, like, my brother, right, he spends a lot of time with your family.
Yeah, for sure.
All the bigger events are with your family.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, if I end up with all boys, imagine all my boys are going to leave me.
No, I think you just have to make it more fun for them.
But I think for me, what I would do is I would go with them. Like, whoever invites me, I'm coming. Like, I'm not going to be the mom that's like, ay, siempre vamos con tu suegra. Like, I'm going to go. Who cares?
Yeah. That's true. As long as you're with your kids and you're making memories, who cares where you're at, you know?
Exactly. So I know during my first trimester, I was very afraid to do much, right? I stopped going to the gym. I stopped doing, like, physical activities. Yeah. I was afraid to go anywhere. I know I went to my trip to Minnesota, but that was because we already had it booked a long time ago.
And if it wasn't TikTok scaring me, it was Bethy scaring me. You were always like, don't carry that. Don't do this. Don't jump. I was like, don't go to the dentist. And I was like, oh my God, okay. Like, I'll just stay here and sit.
No, because you hear so many things. Like my mom, you can't dye your hair. And if you know me, I have highlights, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit grown out now. But I didn't do my hair for over a year because my mom was like, you can't dye your hair because then you might have a miscarriage. Don't go to the dentist because of the x-rays. And if you're in the office, like, you might have a miscarriage. So I was so afraid. I did end up going to the dentist, but that's for my next trimester while I was pregnant. Something happened that I did not expect.
Oh my God. I know.
That.
Like, hello. But no,
so I finally started feeling more comfortable, like, in my second trimester. Like, maybe I can plan a trip. I always dreamed of having a baby moon.
Yeah.
That was, like, a dream for me. Like, I want to go on a trip while I'm pregnant. Did you do any trips?
Well, by the time I felt better, I was already in my 3rd trimester. So...
ignore the babies in the background.
So I did take road trips. I did,
you know, I was very afraid before going to my Minnesota trip. Like that was my biggest fear because so many people told me like cancel the trip. I remember my suegra. I was so afraid on my way there because my suegra was like, "Don't take the trip. You guys need to cancel it." And like she told me a few times, but then I know she went like she helped us clean up after we announced the pregnancy. Yeah. She helped us clean up and she was doing the dishes with Daniel. Yeah. And then Daniel told me the next day, like, my mom was like trying to convince me not to take the trip because what if something happens? No, so I was afraid of like traveling, but until after that trip, I was like, nothing happened.
Yeah, it's all God's plan, and whatever's gonna happen, happens.
Yeah, I spoke to my doctor. My doctor's like, you're fine to travel. Like you don't have any complications. Yeah. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Everything I feel like now is in God's plan. Whatever happens. So it's just kind of like you have to enjoy your pregnancy, think positively always because, negative thoughts never help anyone. So it's just kind of like keep thinking positive. Take your precautions, but don't freak out.
Don't be diving into a pool.
Yeah, don't be diving into a pool, but yeah. Do your daily stuff with confidence, Everything's going to be fine. Be happy that you're building a baby inside of you. Everything is super new, but super nice, It's exciting.
Yeah, so you were saying that you took a few road trips, right?
Yeah, I took a road trip to San Diego, and at this time I was already feeling a little bit better, but it was okay. I didn't feel it much, just like being in the car for too long. I had already like a little bit of backache, nothing too bad.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I was okay. How are you in the airplane?
Yeah, so we actually took a trip to the Bahamas for my baby mood. It was beautiful. The weather was a little bit upsetting, but it was okay because it was hard, carrying the big belly. Yeah. And I was 26 weeks. So it was right before hitting the third trimester. Yes. I was like, we need to go on our trip before 28 weeks because you hear so many things. Yeah. And before we even went, my mom, she's like, mija, no te van a dejar viajar. Like, you're not going to be able to go on the trip because your belly's too big.
Oh my God. You're like, you need to buy 2 seats.
She was like, no, not because of the height. But because they were going to think I was going to give birth already.
Oh, yeah, because honestly, she looked like she was going to give birth at like 12 weeks. Your baby grew really fast.
I'm telling you, my belly was big.
Yeah, and I think they also said all of that because they had someone to compare it with.
Exactly. I didn't show any. And she was 7 weeks ahead. Yeah. So my belly looked cute. And my mom's like, la mejor no dices bien el tiempo. Like, maybe you're actually like.
Everyone said I was going to give birth in 2025 and you in 2024. And I was like, guys, like, I'm way too ahead.
Everyone told me, you're going to have your baby in December. Yeah. Like, the latest. Maybe even November. I was due in January. Like, they gave me, like, the last day of January, the 31st. Yeah. So, anyway, I called my doctor and I'm like, hey, like, my mom's scaring me. She's telling me this. And then, like, I also looked, like TikToks and, like, some girl was, like, posting, oh, I got stopped and I had to call my doctor to get a doctor's note.
What?
And I was like, oh my God, so it does happen. So I like built all these ideas in my head. Like, what if they do stop me? Yeah. So I called my doctor and I told her, like, can I get a note? And she laughed. She's like, I've never heard of that before. But I'll give you
a doctor's note for the airplane.
She's like, I'll give you something. So she gave me a note that said like I was fine to travel. Yeah. And that I had no complications.
Oh my God, how funny.
I know.
I didn't even know that.
So I took it with me. I was like, I'll have it ready just in case.
That's the good thing about Betty. Betty's always prepared. I'd be like, what is that?
But this is why I like plan my trips way in advance.
Yeah,
you are. So anyway, I went to Miami, and then from Miami we had a smaller plane to the Bahamas, and we had a very short like transition period. I think it was like 40 minutes in the airport.
Oh, and you were waddling your way to the
Oh my goodness. I remember like trying to walk as fast as possible, like trying to keep up with Daniel. Yeah. But like my belly was huge. I had back pain.
Yeah, how was that in the airplane though? Because I feel like even without a baby, I'm like, ugh.
So I was very nervous. I was like, what if I get a blood clot? What if something happens?
Oh Lord.
So I was just standing up routinely. Like I got an aisle seat. So I was just getting up, going to the restroom. I would stay in the restroom for like a few minutes, like just standing there, like stretching. And if you've been to the Miami International Airport, it's huge. Yeah. So you have to like walk from like one side to the other side. Yeah. So that was fine. I mean, the flight overall was fine. Nothing really happened. Okay, but the worst part was the hotel, sleeping at night. I could not sleep. My back pain was horrible. So I was using a pregnancy pillow at home, and I couldn't pack that, right? It didn't fit in my suitcase. So
you like the pregnancy pillow?
I did.
like liked it, but I hated that thing. It was so funny because my husband would always tell me, I feel like we're drifting apart because of this pillow. I was like, shut up, get out of here. I was like, it's my big ass belly that we can't be too close. But no, that thing was, I feel like it was huge, and like,
yeah, my husband hated it because it would get in the way.
It was comfortable, but also like it was uncomfortable at the same time. I don't know how to
agree with that because it wasn't comfortable for like my neck.
I think we were just too pregnant, and
yeah, so my neck would hurt, but I would feel the support on my belly for sure because my belly was so big.
That's true.
That it would help support my belly. So when we went to the Bahamas in the hotel, we didn't have any pregnancy pillows. So I was putting like a pillow to support my belly, but it wasn't the same. So I wouldn't sleep. And it was an all-inclusive resort, so we were eating a lot.
Were you scared with like, because you know how when you go to different countries or whatever, you get food poisoning or something?
You know, it's funny that you bring that up because while I was there, I actually spotted a little bit, and I was so scared. Like, it was very little. Like, let's say like when you wipe the toilet paper and like some pink comes up, I freaked out. But it had happened already before.
You did say it happened to you a lot.
So it happened to me, I want to say like 3 times while I was pregnant.
Goodness. Yeah.
But then it would stop.
Yeah. That's
so everything was okay. Everything was okay. And it's normal according to my doctor. Like, it would just happen to be that I was out
hate that everything is normal. Like, can you just give me a reason why this is happening?
Like, can you give me a book so I can read it and know all the symptoms and everything to expect?
Thank God everything is normal, but everything freaks you out and you're just kind of like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, the whole time, my whole pregnancy, always scared.
Yeah, so that happened out there. So I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, what if something's wrong? And Daniel's like, okay, if it doesn't stop, like, we're gonna go to the doctors. Like, stop worrying about it. And obviously it stopped. So
okay, good.
It wasn't a big deal. And out there, all inclusive, like I was saying, I had my first like heartburn at night, which was the worst thing ever. I am not gonna lie, it was the worst. I woke up in the middle of the night choking, like I was gonna throw up.
I had heartburn so early on my pregnancy. I think by like the second trimester I was already used to the heartburn, but it was so bad where I couldn't even sleep at all. Almost every night you had lower back pain, I had heartburn. Like, probably was like around the same time, like heartburn all the time. I would just stare at my husband and be like, oh, how lucky you are that you can
Did you ever get heartburn to the point where like you were coughing, like choking on that?
It was so bad, like even where water would kind of burn because it was just so like it was so bad.
So that was my first experience out there, and it was probably because I was eating all kinds of food because it was all inclusive. The reason we chose the Bahamas is because it's still in the United States. So we wanted something local enough where, you know, you can hop on a plane to Miami and you can go to a big hospital.
Yeah, that's true.
So we wanted to keep it local. We didn't want to, like, if you know me, I love beaches. I love going to the Caribbean. We had just gone to the Maldives. Yeah. But I was like, no, like, I'm pregnant. I don't want to risk it. Like, I want to be local to a hospital if something happens.
For sure. Yeah. That's always something you want.
During our vacation, we actually saw a few other pregnant women.
Oh, nice. That's calming. You're like, hey.
Then, I know my husband was at the bar. Like, he would normally go to the bar, get the drinks, and I was like laying in the beach chair. And they would ask my husband, like, oh, how many weeks is your wife? And he'd be like, oh, 26 weeks. And then they'd be like, oh, my wife is like 30. And I had a bigger belly. Yeah. So they were always surprised, like, what's going on? Like,
I think same with me. Opposite, though, obviously. Because I'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm due next month. And they're like, it looks like you barely got pregnant. Because when I tell you my belly was like the smallest little thing ever, it really was. And at that moment, I would be really sad when people would be like, oh, you don't even look pregnant. I'm like, oh, but I want to look pregnant. Yeah. Like, for me, I wanted to look pregnant. Like, obviously now I'm kind of like grateful that I didn't, because it would have been so much harder, because it's like,
trust me, the back pain from carrying that belly was horrible.
But maybe a little like bigger would have been nice, but I mean,
and didn't you feel like so confident? Because I was at the beach wearing my bikinis with my big belly, and I was like, ooh, like, you can't see my long hair, you can't see my fat, like,
I think pregnancy was, I was at my like most confident self. Like, I was like feeling so, and you said like people would tell me that I would glow, and I felt it. I was like, I feel so much prettier. Like, my hair felt nicer, you know. I felt like cute with my belly. I think
exactly. I did too. I was buying like all these cute outfits with my belly, but it was a little bit hard for work, because since I worked like in a business setting, I had to wear like dress pants, and even like buying like professional dresses for like a business role. It was hard.
Oh my God, there was a bee in my foot. Oh my gosh, that was so scary. Anyways, I'm okay.
Yeah, it was really hard to like dress cute for work, but like on the weekends, all these cute dresses, you know, my spaghetti straps, because it was hot. That's
no,
one of the symptoms.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
I
get
was
so
sweating.
hot.
No, you know, in my second trimester, I think it's when it started that I couldn't sleep at all, and I was just thirsty. Where no amount of water hydrated me. I was like every constant water, and every sip of water was a trip to the restroom. Like I had to.
I know
pee
you
constantly.
had that a lot. Like
yes.
you had to go pee all the
time. No, it was so bad I couldn't sleep at night. So I was so thirsty, but then I had to pee all the time.
Maybe since your belly was so little, like your
Compact,
baby was pushing like
on
down on your bladder,
more.
and since my baby was like sticking out,
it had a mansion. He's like, I'll sit on this today. No, yeah. It definitely like second trimester heartburn, terrible. Peeing all the time, drinking a lot of water because I felt like a fish out of water. Like I was so dehydrated, heartburn to the max.
So in addition to the ultrasound where we do a gender ultrasound, we also have the anatomy scan in the second trimester. And this is where they check all body parts of your baby. And I think it's the longest ultrasound you have.
Yeah.
Because they're checking everything.
Yep.
And if they can't see something, you have to go back for another ultrasound. Because they had me walk around, they had me do squats.
Oh,
so my baby could move positions because they check the valves in the heart, and they couldn't like see one of the valves because of the way my baby was positioned.
Oh, that's
They're like, normally the baby moves, but since my baby was always sleeping during ultrasound,
I just had steak. And
it's funny because we would go get breakfast before, so we would wake up extra early because I couldn't sleep because of the back pain. So we wake up extra early, go get breakfast, and then go to the ultrasound, and then from there I would go to work. But that's a whole other story. So how did your ultrasound go?
Remember, okay, so in like the other video I said that I had insurance problems and I didn't get that fixed until a while. So honestly, that was always in the back of my head, like I need the anatomy scan. It was already 20 weeks, and at 20 weeks is when you get your anatomy scan. But at 20 weeks, nothing. I couldn't get anything till I was like 25, 26 weeks of an anatomy scan. So all that time, like thinking, oh, what if something's wrong with my baby and I don't find out, da da da. But then at the end of the day, I was just kind of like, you know what? She's gonna come out. She's gonna come out.
Even if something's wrong, like you're not like. And it's crazy because my first appointment, I got goosebumps just thinking about it. They ask you if something's wrong with your baby, do you want to have an abortion?
I know, that's really sad.
Like the first question they ask you when you go to your first appointment.
They didn't ask
and I was like, oh my god, like I'm gonna keep my baby. Oh, if they have like chromosome deficiencies, will you keep your baby? I'm like, yes.
Oh my goodness, no, I didn't ask me that. God, like, maybe also because of the insurance thing.
That's
my first
ultrasound
was
that's
Jenny,
what happened.
So,
I think at the point that you went to your primary care doctor, you're already like further along.
Yeah, no, actually my first ultrasound was in a hospital, but no, they didn't ask me that.
No, so with
God,
me,
I would have been like,
that. And I was
like, what? I already went through the hard time.
like there's no way I'm gonna give up my baby because something's wrong. Like, you know, I think it's a blessing if someone has like a baby with Down syndrome. I think it's beautiful.
Oh yeah, and I used to work in schools with kids with Down syndrome, autism, and yes, it's a little difficult, but they're still so loving and so cute. Like, you know, they still love you. They're
it's a
still
different experience, and I think that bond with your child is always going to be there because it's your baby.
It's definitely harder, and there's going to be a lot of changes in your lives. But when I talk to these moms, they are so much more grateful for their kids than some moms with kids that don't have anything. They value their kids. They're always there on time. They love their kids. So it's just kind of like, I personally, maybe other people have other
and we haven't experienced it ourselves. So maybe we're talking but we don't really know what it's like, right?
But I knew these moms, and these moms love their kids, and they're still their kids, you know, like they're still normal people. The parents have to adjust to them. And that's like the hardest part, you know, but they learn, you know, you live and you learn. As you're living, you're learning something new.
Even with our babies.
It's like we're living and learning. But no, yeah, I think that's a very sad question. But I feel like also a lot of people do terminate, and unfortunately, but everyone is like their own decision. But for us, we would have like, you know, like kept their babies, even though it's like difficult.
And I'm Catholic, so I'm big on like anti-abortion, anti-this. But I respect everyone's decision. Everyone's decision, you know.
Everyone does what they
do
need
it,
to do.
then you need to, you know. You have a right. It's your body and it's your choice.
Yeah, but it's like for our self values, it's like I feel like it's a little different, you know.
Correct.
And that's everyone is different, so just be okay with whatever anyone wants, like, you know what I mean. So, but yeah, in the anatomy scan, I was nervous because I didn't have the insurance. And when I did get it, they were like, she might be too big. We might not be able to see everything that we need to see. So I was just like, even that was nerve-wracking. And I feel like when we did see her, she did get to see her, but she was like, she's a little too big. So in the anatomy scan, she came out looking like an alien. Like, it was so weird. I was like, because she was looking at the camera. I was like, oh, so now you want to look at the camera? But now when we were doing our like 3D, 4D, she wouldn't want to look at it. But how was yours? Mine was like kind of like long.
Yeah, so with our anatomy scan, I actually went by myself. No, so my husband was with me, and so my husband was with me, but my baby had to move because they couldn't find that valve on the heart. But then he had to leave.
You know what's funny about anatomy scans? That they have you laying down for so long, and they always tell you don't lay on your back for more than like 10 minutes. And the whole time in the anatomy scan,
I know, I was like, oh my god, is it
should
too
I get
long?
up? Yeah, literally. Sorry, but I totally interrupted you.
No, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
It was nerve-wracking. Like, I'm laying on my back. So my husband had to leave because my baby wouldn't move, and I was doing squats and all of this, and I was like, you know what, go.
To work?
To work.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny, when they first do the ultrasound, like, I never even thought of this. Like, the first thing the ultrasound tech said, she was like, oh, he has 5 fingers. And I was like, that didn't even go through my mind. Like,
hopefully,
I would hope like he had 5 fingers, but like I didn't even think of that. Like, that's something they check for in this ultrasound. Like, it's like everything.
Obviously,
So then I had a checkup with my OB because the ultrasound techs don't give you lots of information about these scans, all these ultrasounds. They just bare minimum. So then I went with my OB, and then he overviewed the anatomy scan, and he's like, oh, everything came out good, but exactly, I didn't share this with anyone other than my husband.
I was like, tell me what is wrong with my baby now.
Exactly. He's like, so one of the things came out, it's normal. He's like, it's still normal, but it's like next to almost being abnormal.
Oh my god.
And I was like, so it was the ventricles of the brain.
Oh my god.
And I was like, what does that even mean, right? So it's like, there's like fluid pockets inside of the brain, and then they start shrinking as the baby develops in your stomach, right? So it was still in the normal range, but it was on the higher end of normal. So he's like, you're still in the normal, but I would want you to like go to another ultrasound so we could double check everything. And so I started questioning like so many things. I was like, oh my god, it's still normal, but
what was it? I don't like.
So, like, there's extra fluid in the brain.
Oh, so he had too much fluid?
No, it was still normal, but it was closer to. So there's a range.
It was like more like to the.
So there's it's like let's say like 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And he was like at 9.5.
Oh.
And the average, like, that's normal, 1 through 10. But if it's at 9.5,
then you have to watch out for it.
Yeah. So he was like, okay, I'm gonna send you to another ultrasound.
Yeah.
So then we went to another ultrasound. Yeah. But honestly, at that point, I was like freaking out. No, and I told Daniel, and Daniel was like, it's still normal. Like, what are you?
Relax. I feel like boys are very like relaxed, and you're very like, no, I need to know. Like,
and I think it's because of the way I grew up. My dad thinks of worst case scenario all the time.
That's my husband, and I'm trying to change him. Actually, I've been like, he's been better now, but I'm like, relax. We're gonna be fine. We're not gonna die in this road trip. Like, he's always like, we're gonna die. I gotta defend everyone. I'm like, let's relax. Let's enjoy the moment right now. Because he freaks out about everything, and I'm more of my family was always like, too chill. Everything will be fine. But that's a good balance, Exactly. Someone has to freak out about everything, and someone has to be the relaxer. Yeah. Like,
so I was like thinking worst case scenario, like, oh my god, what if something's wrong with their baby? Yeah. And everything went through my mind. So anyway, we go to another ultrasound.
Yeah.
So they can double check. They scheduled me with two more ultrasounds. And as soon as I get there, like, the nurses were amazing here, the ultrasound techs.
Oh, nice.
They gave me like 10, 15 ultrasound pictures of my baby.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, so
those strips are
awesome.
long.
I know. So she gave me a ton. And they they didn't even call in the doctor. They're like, oh, everything looks fine. When did you go to your ultrasound? And
so it was a different hospital?
It was a different location.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
completely different.
Thank God you got a second.
Yeah, exactly. So she's like, everything looks fine. Like, do you want to wait for the doctor?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. Like, I didn't come all the way over here just for you to tell me everything's fine, and I'm not even going to talk to a doctor.
Yeah.
So I speak with the doctor, and the doctor's like, he was like, oh, where are you going? Yeah. Like, what's your like, what clinic are you going to with your OB? Like, what's going on? And then I tell him, and he's like, oh yeah, normally, like, at that location, like, they're not very experienced, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, okay. But he's like, but everything's fine. Everything looks good. He's like, but I can schedule you for another one. I think they just wanted to get money.
Yeah.
But I liked the pictures, so I was like, okay, like schedule me for another one anyway.
Yeah.
So
oh, that's nice.
So yeah, so everything was fine.
Thank God. That
I know,
scary.
but it was scary because it's like, okay, it's normal, but
yes,
it might not be like. And what happens if it's not?
Yeah,
I don't know. I
if
didn't
it's
ask those
not?
questions. I was
Yeah.
just like so nervous
Oh
and
my
scared
gosh,
after that.
That is so scary. What the heck? Also, that was what's scary. Like, what if something like that happened with Ollie and I didn't know, you know? I at least wanted to know to be prepared.
Or like, or if you had to take like certain medication
to help it get fixed.
Exactly.
So I was just like, that was also like super nerve wracking for me, not being able to get the anatomy scan, not being able to like, till she was bigger, and they were like, oh, we could see this, but we can't see this, or this. And I was just like, oh, like, okay, fine, it's okay. Like, whatever we can see, we can see. And I just have to be okay with it.
It's fine.
In this trimester, also something that happened was I was just thinking about giving birth. Like, I think ever since I found out that I was having a baby, I couldn't, but it worsened a million times when we were in the second trimester, because I was just like I couldn't even sleep. I would wake up from my sleep because I would have dreams of giving birth.
That's funny because my sister-in-law went through the same thing. She just had a baby, and she was telling me like, I'm having dreams that I'm having contractions. She's like, I don't know if it's like actually me having contractions or if it's just in my head.
Yeah, no,
and for me, I mean, I didn't have that. I had that constant fear of how is it going to feel like when I give birth. That was the scariest part for me the entire pregnancy. Even before I was pregnant, I didn't want to get pregnant because I was afraid of what it would feel like to deliver a baby.
No, yeah, me too. And I would just wake up and be like, oh my God, like I have to give birth, and I would just worry myself. Also, something that happened throughout this trimester was I was genuinely happy. Like, I was super happy that I was having a baby. I would think about it every time I would cry about the thought of me having a baby. I would take a picture of myself and be like, look, now I'm crying because I'm happy. And I have so many photos of those because I was just so happy that I was having a baby. I was like, oh, this is like so crazy, you know, like I didn't expect it at all, but like, you know, everything happens for a reason. And I was just so happy. Like, this is like, I was like, maybe I needed this, you know, something else, something different after the morning sickness and all of that. Everything was new. And then I started, and also the ending of my second trimester, I started finally eating. I was like, thank God. Like,
finally.
Yes. And I ate an egg around 5 months, and I was like, nothing's happening. Like, I'm okay. In the back of my mind, I was still kind of grossed out, but I was like, no, I have to do this for my baby now. Like, as soon as I felt like I could eat again, I was eating, and like, okay, now.
And me from day one, eggs. I loved eggs. I would eat eggs so much. I was used to eating just one egg for breakfast, and I started eating 2. And honestly, now I still eat 2 because breastfeeding, it's a different kind of hunger.
It's a different monster. Girl, I like 3 eggs.
I ate so much.
I ate so much. And if pregnancy didn't get me fat, breastfeeding got me fat.
Tell me about it.
Something had to get me. I was like, no. But yeah, the second trimester, I was super happy, super excited, and finally got to eat. I was like, thank you, God. Like, after not being able to eat for 4 months, I was like, thank you, God. Like, I'm eating. That privilege of eating is so like crazy that you take advantage, because now that I could eat, or when I started eating when I was pregnant, I thank God every day. I was like, thank you, God, for letting me eat and not throwing it up. I was like, thank you, because I was just throwing up everything before. And then finally getting to eat, getting to be outside and not being nauseous. I was like, it's such a blessing. Like, you don't even think about it until that privilege is gone of not eating. It's like, oh my God, like, thank God that I could eat. So that came back, and I don't think I still had any cravings in my second trimester. I had just ate whatever, something light. It always had to be something fresh.
Yeah, cravings, I would just eat a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just wanted food.
Yeah.
As long as I was eating at my hours, like, because I'm telling you, like, I wouldn't sleep. Like, I know you said sleepless nights started for you, but I wouldn't sleep since like day 9 because my back pain, it just continued, and it progressively got worse.
Yeah.
So my sleep was like completely
But like
gone.
you said, it's because you had a bigger belly, you know? It was just growing like at a crazy rate, I feel like. It was just like, whoop. Yeah, and also in our second trimester, we found out what our gender was, and we got to pick baby names. I got baby girl names, and she got baby boy names.
So for me, I did have a few names that I really like. I won't say them because then you're gonna steal them. If I have another baby, I still need them saved. Yeah. My father-in-law, his name is Daniel, and my husband is Daniel. So we wanted to continue the tradition. So we gave him a middle name. His middle name, we were in disagreement about a few names. So I'm not going to say them because if I do have another child, he's going to be named those names. So my husband actually loves soccer players. So if you know him, he loves Cristiano Ronaldo.
And the funny part was that your baby was almost born on Ronaldo's birthday.
So he was actually born on Cristiano Ronaldo's birthday.
On the day?
Yeah, so my husband thought, because you know the time difference, he thought that he was born like a day later.
Yeah.
But he was actually born on the day of because of that time difference.
You should name him Cristiano Ronaldo.
He would have ended up with Cristiano as a middle name, but it didn't happen because my husband thought, because of the time difference, that we were like a day difference. Almost... I know. So we ended up calling him Thiago, which is also
a soccer player. Yeah, that is so funny. What the heck?
But it has biblical meanings. It means may God protect. So it's like a protection. And for us, it was like, cute. You know, we were trying so hard, so we really want him to be protected by God and our religion.
Yeah, that's actually really cute.
Yeah, that's how we ended up. So how did you end up with your baby's name?
So I had picked between two. And the other one, there was too many of this name, and there was.
You were gonna name her Elizabeth, huh?
No. No. There's too many Elizabeths.
My name is unique.
There's too many Elizabeths in your family. There's like 7. What unique?
But I'm the first one. I was born first, so I don't know what my tias were thinking by naming there.
Literally.
Elizabeth.
No. Okay. You know, I making fun of her, but my mom, my grandma, and my auntie are all Claudias. You know, that's funny. Like, no more Claudias in our family, please. But no, for me. It was either between Sophia or Olivia. And Sophia, I work at a daycare, and there's already so many
Sophias.
And in the world, there's so many Sophias. So our second option was Olivia, and we went with Olivia. I thought it was so cute because also kind of when you say in English, I love ya, it sounds like Olivia.
It does.
And you know,
I never thought about it.
And in Spanish, te amo kind of sounds like Thiago. So I always thought
that's true. I never
that was a little funny.
Because
when you say it fast, I'm like, oh, I love you too. I love you too. No, but
you love me or you like
no, literally. So we chose Olivia because I really like that name too, and I also decided on Olivia because Olivia, you could say it in Spanish, and in English. That was always something like I need them to know how to say it in Spanish.
I always thought of that too. And you know, I went with Thiago, and like it's
Thiago. You can
say it in Spanish or English, but for some reason, my dad has such a hard time saying Thiago. Like Diego, and I was like,
who's Diego?
How am I getting Diego?
Literally.
And it's funny because we also called like Daniel's family in Mexico, and like one of his aunts was like Diego. But the best part for your baby is her middle name, right?
Yeah, the best part is how we came up with her middle name. Her middle name's May, and because my husband and I got together in May when we were our dating anniversary, and then our marriage anniversary is also in May.
I thought that was so special. I don't know if you've heard of it, but there's pregnancy breath.
No.
Because of your hormones.
Oh, okay.
And I could smell my breath. And I even asked my husband, like, can you smell my breath? And he's like, yeah, it smells different. And like now it's gone.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know.
So that's something like you can look into it.
Oh, that's
like
crazy.
Because of the hormones, the regulation.
Yeah, makes sense though.
The pregnancy breath. So that was another thing. Like I was self-conscious about it too. Like even though I would brush my teeth, I could still like smell it myself because I was expecting.
Yeah.
So the second trimester, I think, was like a big transition from first versus second, and versus the third. So the third will be in our next podcast. That's something that we are excited to share with everyone.
My third trimester was like my most beautiful trimester, honestly. But yeah, that's our second trimester. Let us know in the comments who you relate to more, because I know some people last video related to yours more. If it's a mix. Or tell us your experience, how it was in the comments. You guys can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And hopefully you guys like, subscribe, and follow. And you could turn on your notifications, I think, whenever we post. The little bell. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is
Motherhood Unfiltered Diaries.